Ghost.
Now, Ghost was a man of many mysteries and secrets, and to this day, we're still watching him making moves from his grave, especially with what we saw with Tariq in Power Book 2 Ghost Season 2. But I mentioned a while ago, after we saw the moves that we saw with Tariq, which left him baffled as to how Ghost thought of every single possible outcome, that I really wouldn't be surprised if along the way we saw something similar with Tommy. But it would be difficult for someone like Daniel to visit Tommy, because he's supposed to be dead in New York. But in episode 3 it was a very subtle hint and a question that Tommy asked JP, who's paying for their grandma's nursing home, and I definitely think Ghost Trust could be the answer. So in this video, we're going to run through a brief history of Ghost's will, and how and why he could be paying for Miriam Egan's nursing home fees, but how her house is the location that could uncover so many more secrets that Tommy doesn't know about himself. But let's start with rewinding it back to Power, and run through what we know about Ghost's will and trust so far, because Ghost was someone who looked after those he cared about, and Paz Valdez was one of them because she was Angela's sister. Now she was left without nothing because of the evidence that Jacob Warner and Blanca Rodriguez had about Angela working with JP St Patrick, so she didn't get anything from her pension. But Ghost actually left her a lot of money because he updated his will after Angela died, which she took after some convincing from Tasha, and she used the money to set up a nail salon. Now Kate Egan, she was also someone who Ghost left money for, and we saw her telling Tommy that she doesn't need him anymore because of the money that Ghost left for her. But he also left something for Tommy, and that was the keys to his Mustang. Before the St. Patrick's, he left Grandma Estelle's a year's worth of rent to be paid from his trust. He left Tariq his watch collection, his property, the shares in the nightclubs, including Truth. But Tariq only inherits once he completes a 4-year degree with an average 3.5 GPA. And unfortunately for Tasha, he left her nothing. But there are certain events that trigger Daniel coming to our screens with information from Ghost, but this only happens when certain events play out. For example, Tariq being arrested for homicide, which resulted in Daniel giving him a letter from Ghost, where he said he knew he'd end up in jail right where he belongs. And there was also another trigger in the second half of the season, where if nobody was able to take care of Yasmin, she'd be adopted. And we all saw the look on Tariq's face, which is someone who couldn't believe that Ghost thought of every single move. And no doubt, as the seasons go on, certain events will probably trigger even more move from Ghost's grave. But let's fast forward it to Power Book 4 Force, because JP's refurbing their grandma's house, and Tommy asked JP who's paying for her nursing home fees.
I assume she got some kind of trust set up.
She had money like that?
Enough, I guess.
Nobody ever hit up you or your old man?
Now, as we all know, nursing homes can be very expensive, but she's got some sort of trust set up, but nobody hit JP or his father up, and when they came back into Miriam's life, she was already in the home. But this sounds like such a Ghost move that he had a trust set up to take care of Miriam Egan if and when she went into a nursing home, because as I mentioned, there are definitely more triggers in Ghost's will that I think we're going to see in the future in my opinion. But if Ghost knew about Miriam Egan, then why didn't he ever tell Tommy? Now the thing is with Ghost, will we ever know what was going through a mind of a character like him? We saw him on Power for 6 seasons, yet all of a sudden, Tariq is beginning to just realize more about who his father is while he's dead than when he was alive. For example, Ghost was right about Tariq. He was trying to save him from a life of misery, and now we're seeing Tariq doing exactly what Ghost tried to do for 6 seasons of Power, which was have some sort of backup plan to leave the game. And I really do think the same goes for Tommy, not in terms of leaving the game because he's someone who will always live by the street and die by the street, but he's gonna learn more about Ghost, his moves, and more about himself at the same time. And as JP said, he's gutted the whole of upstairs, but he hasn't made a start on downstairs yet. And I think Miriam Egan's house is a location of hidden secrets about Tommy's past. A past life which Tommy is learning about as every single episode passes. He's learning more about himself. For example, this.
Holy shit. There I am.
But as JP comes to cleaning the rest of Grandma's house, let's see what else he digs up about Tommy. Now, if they really wanted to go looking for answers, then JP suggested they can go to Kate. But there is no way Tommy even wants to consider that option. But this is the 3rd time Kate has been mentioned this season, and I do think at some point Miriam Egan has to sadly pass away, and we'll probably see a funeral. So is this when we see the reunion between Tommy, Kate, and JP? Even though Kate and Tommy are dead to each other, I think they're setting it up for her to return at some point in the future, because as Tommy finds out more about his past, sooner or later he may want some answers that only Kate can give him. So that's a breakdown of Ghost's will and potentially more clues to come, and more secrets to be revealed for Tommy in his grandma's house. But let me know if you think Ghost could have paid for Tommy and JP's grandma's trust. Drop all your thoughts down below in the comment section, and of course if you're new to the channel and you haven't done so already, then remember to smash the subscribe button if you want to see everything Power Book 4 Force. and Power Universe related. But as always, thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you next time.